Hello and welcome. Today we're diving into the life and legacy of a remarkable musician, bandleader, and friend, Cleto Escobedo III. His name may not always have been in the flashing lights, but his saxophone, his presence, and his enduring partnership with a late-night television institution made him quietly indispensable. Born on August 23, 1966, in Las Vegas, Nevada, Cleto grew up with music all around him, in a family rooted in the horn section, but also with a deep friendship that would span decades. He would go on to lead the house band of Jimmy Kimmel Live. From its launch in 2003, become a fixture in late-night television, and ultimately leave us on November 11, 2025, aged 59. But his story is not just about a date or a role. It is about a lifelong passion for the saxophone, a friendship that began on a street in Las Vegas, a musical voice that supported countless artists, and the commitment to his craft and his family. It's a story of roots, of mentorship from father to son, of collaboration, and of the kind of consistency that brings hidden greatness to the surface. In today's video, we'll walk through his early life and musical roots, the formative years and how he came into music professionally, his breakthrough into television and the significance of his role on Jimmy Kimmel Live, his style and contributions as musician and bandleader, his personal values, family life, and his legacy, and finally, what we can learn from his career about dedication, friendship, and musicianship. So sit back, grab a beverage, and let's explore the life of Cleto Escobedo III. Cleto Escobedo III was born into a home where music was present though not always in the limelight. His father, Cleto Escobedo Jr., was an accomplished saxophonist with deep roots in the West Side sound of San Antonio, Texas, who eventually settled in Las Vegas. At the same time, his mother Sylvia made the home an environment where young Cleto would first pick up the instrument. According to available biographies, his father initially paused his touring career in order to raise his family. The sacrifices were real, and they allowed his son to grow up with both music and family presence. Growing up in Las Vegas, Cleto and his future lifelong friend, Jimmy Kimmel, lived across the street from each other. Their friendship began when Kimmel was 9 and moved to Las Vegas in 1977. The two became inseparable childhood pals, sharing a sense of humor and often spending time together watching late-night television, notably enjoying David Letterman. From an early age, Cleto showed musical talent. Sources describe him as a child prodigy on the saxophone. In school assemblies, the whole school would gather to hear him. He would receive standing ovations. With his father's guidance, he developed mastery over alto, tenor, and soprano saxophones. His family background provided both encouragement and a model of professional musicianship, while his friendship with Jimmy added a parallel dimension of lifetime connection. In his teens and early 20s, Cleto attended the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV, and performed in jazz bands, initially pursuing a degree in political science before opting out to become a full-time musician. This decision would set him on the path of professional performance, forgoing a more conventional route in favor of music. It's worth noting how the environment and personal choices intersect. Las Vegas, a city of performance, a family of musicians, and a close friend who would one day become a major television host. This early chapter set the tone: talent, discipline, the saxophone as voice, friendship, roots, and family in equal measure. From here, Cleto would move into touring and recording with major artists, thereby building credentials that would eventually lead him into late-night television. Once Cleto committed to full-time musicianship, his career began to ascend. According to multiple sources, he toured with major industry acts, including Paula Abdul, as part of the Forever Your Girl tour era, and Mark Anthony. These tours exposed him to large-scale performance settings and provided a platform for his saxophone voice, his professionalism, and the depth of his musicality. On the recording front, while his solo album might not have achieved massive commercial success, the work itself underscores his commitment to jazz/saxophone as an art form rather than simply as a commercial vehicle. As Jimmy Kimmel himself said in an interview, he was never really a pop star. He was more of a serious musician. He loved jazz and R&B and different kinds of music than what the record company wanted from him. In 1995, Cleto formed the band Cleto and the Cletones, a horn-driven ensemble that would go on to become much more than just a touring outfit. It became the house band for Jimmy Kimmel Live, as we will see shortly. The band included, over time, Cleto's father along with accomplished session musicians. The idea of father and son playing together on television would become a unique hallmark of the ensemble's story. A key turning point occurred when Jimmy Kimmel, planning his own late-night talk show which would launch on ABC in 2003, approached his childhood friend to lead the house band. As Kimmel observed, "Of course I wanted great musicians, but I wanted somebody I had chemistry with. And there's nobody in my life I have better chemistry with than him." This decision bridged two worlds, the childhood friendship from Las Vegas and the professional musicianship that Cleto had built. It also speaks to the intangible of chemistry in show business, not just skill, but trust, connection, and reliability. For Cleto, it meant stepping into a very visible role every single night on a major network program. Once Jimmy Kimmel Live premiered, Cleto and his band became part of the late-night television rhythm. Night after night, through monologues, guest segments, musical bits, and comedic interludes, the band anchored the show's soundscape. The presence of a consistent bandleader and ensemble gave the show a stable musical voice, something that many talk shows rely on heavily, but sometimes take for granted. From a broader perspective, Cleto's career demonstrates a classic arc: foundational musical training, touring and recording, niche breakthrough, television legacy. Each step fed into the next. Touring and recording gave credibility. Forming his own band gave leadership. The television role gave wide public exposure and stability, and the father-son band story added a narrative richness. When Jimmy Kimmel Live launched in 2003, it was entering a competitive late-night landscape. The choice of bandleader, house band sound, and musical culture were all important elements. By selecting Cleto Escobedo III, Jimmy Kimmel signaled that he valued not only musical excellence, but a trusted personal partnership. Cleto led the house band, Cleto and the Cletones, from the earliest episodes until his passing in 2025. Over more than 2 decades, the band filled multiple roles: musical songs, opening themes, connecting segments, sound cues, guest appearances, and live performances. In many ways, the band became part of the show's identity. Let's break down some key aspects of his role. Musical leadership and sound identity. As bandleader, Cleto was responsible not just for his own saxophone playing, but for guiding the musical direction of the ensemble, choosing arrangements, setting performance tempos, interacting with the host and guests. His skill on alto, tenor, and soprano saxophones gave the band flexibility and depth. His prior touring and recording experience meant he could handle the demands of a nightly television show: precision, adaptability, professionalism. Chemistry with the host. What stands out in Cleto's story is the long friendship with Jimmy Kimmel. The fact that they grew up across the street in Las Vegas and remained friends into adulthood added a level of trust and understanding that many professional relationships lack. Jimmy Kimmel has noted that their shared history contributed to the show band chemistry in a way that pure musical credentials alone couldn't guarantee. This made for smoother transitions, musical jokes, and a sense of genuine camaraderie on screen. Father-son dynamic. Another unique aspect was that Cleto's father, Cleto Escobedo Jr., became part of the band. Sources note that Jimmy Kimmel invited him. "Hey man, what about your dad? Wouldn't that be kind of cool?" And young Cleto agreed. The visual of father and son playing saxophones together on a national television show created a deeper narrative of legacy, mentorship, family, and music. Consistency and visibility. From 2003 to 2025, being part of a nightly television show means reliability. You show up, you deliver, you adapt to guests, you perform live, often with little rehearsal time. For Cleto, this meant that his musicianship was showcased on a national stage, week after week, for years. That kind of consistency builds trust and visibility, even if the general public doesn't always know the bandleader's name. Impact beyond the show. While many viewers focus on the host or the guests, The behind-the-scenes band sets the tone and energy of the program. Cleto's role influenced how musical cues worked, how guest entrances felt, how transitions were viewed. His leadership helped define the auditory character of the show, subtle but powerful. In summary, Cleto's tenure on Jimmy Kimmel Live was not just a job, it was the culmination of his musical journey, the realization of a childhood friendship in a professional setting, and a demonstration of the often underappreciated role of the bandleader in television. What made Cleto Escobedo III stand out musically? Here are a few elements that highlight his style and contributions. Versatility of saxophones. Cleto played alto, tenor, and soprano saxophone, which allowed him to cover a wide range of sonic colors, from smooth jazz lines to brassy, punchy riffs suitable for a late-night show. His technical proficiency reflected formal training and years of professional work. Blend of genres. His background included jazz, R&B, funk, and rock influences. As he himself observed, he loved jazz and R&B and different kinds of music than what the record company wanted from him. This interest beyond mainstream pop allowed him to bring depth to his playing, giving the band and the show a richer musical palette. Professional touring experience. His work with major touring artists, Paula Abdul, Mark Anthony, and others, meant he was familiar with high-stakes performance, rhythm sections, big audiences, wrong cues, changing schedules, and the variety of musical gigs. That foundation enabled him to transition smoothly into television, where deadlines are tight and expectations high. Leadership and arrangement. As bandleader, his job wasn't just to solo. He had to coordinate the band, select pieces, respond to cues in the show, e.g., when to begin, when to cut off, when the host starts speaking. That level of responsibility requires both musical intelligence and situational awareness. Mentoring and legacy. By bringing his father into the band, he acknowledged the legacy of saxophone playing and set an example for family mentorship. Young musicians watching late-night television may not always realize who the bandleader is, but for musicians and insiders, the model of a musician maintaining both artistic integrity and professional stability is inspiring. Work ethic and consistency. Being part of a long-running television show means turning up night after night, adapting to guests, improvising when needed, solving technical or timing issues instantly. Cleto's career shows the often unseen side of music. The rehearsal, the sound check, the pacing of show business, the ability to deliver flawlessly week in and week out. Public presence and humility. While he may not have sought the spotlight as a solo star, his position allowed him to be visible enough to influence and to inspire. His humility, described in interviews, and his commitment to family make his story more than just about achievement. It's about values. In short, Cleto's musicianship was rooted in deep technical skill, diversified genre interest, professional experience, leadership, and a commitment to performing on a high level with consistency. For musicians and non-musicians alike, his example resonates. Talent plus discipline plus collaboration equals lasting influence. Behind the saxophone and the stage lights, Cleto Escobedo III was a person with values, a family, and a story of loyalty and friendship. Family and roots. Cleto was married to his wife Lori, and they had 2 children. He lived in the Los Angeles area, as his work on television demanded, but his roots remained in Las Vegas and his father's legacy in San Antonio. His father's journey, from touring musician to father raising his son, then returning to play with his son's band, is a testament to musical legacy, sacrifice, and family bonds. Friendship and loyalty. The friendship with Jimmy Kimmel stands out. Growing up across the street, playing pranks together, building a lifetime of trust. Jimmy Kimmel's statements at the time of Cleto's passing emphasize this bond. Cleto and I have been inseparable since I was 9 years old. The fact that we got to work together every day is a dream neither of us could ever have imagined would come true. This kind of enduring relationship in the entertainment world is rare and adds an emotional dimension to Cleto's story. Work-life balance and values. In a 2022 interview, Cleto spoke frankly about the fact that touring is fun, but it's more of a young man's game, referencing the strain of being away from family for long periods. He noted that the television band job allowed him to be more present for his children. This emphasis on family, presence, choosing a career path aligned with values, is part of what makes his story meaningful beyond the music industry headline. Legacy and impact. With his passing on November 11th, 2025, at age 59, Cleto left behind a body of work, a band that will continue, and a legacy of excellence. While he may not have been a household name like the huge pop stars he toured with, his influence is felt in the corridors of late-night television and among musicians who know what goes on behind the scenes. He showed that consistent musicianship, leadership, collaboration, and authenticity matter. Inspirational takeaways. Talent alone is not enough. The discipline to keep showing up matters. Relationships matter. Personal trust and history can open doors. Balancing career and family is possible. One doesn't always have to sacrifice one for the other. The role of a musician can vary from being the star to being the support. Both are valuable. Legacy isn't just about albums sold, but about lives touched, bands led, stability provided, and influence given. In that sense, Cleto's story is more than a career bio. It's a profile in grounded professionalism, musical love, friendship, family, and commitment. As we reflect on Cleto Escobedo III's life, we can draw several lessons applicable to musicians, creatives, and anyone striving for meaningful work and relationships. Embrace the long game. Cleto didn't rise to instant fame and then vanish. He built a decades-long career. That kind of consistency is rare and powerful. Value relationships and trust. The friendship between him and Jimmy Kimmel demonstrates how trust and longevity matter. In many fields, who you are matters nearly as much as what you can do. Stay true to your voice. Cleto loved jazz and R&B, even when the record companies may have wanted something else. He pursued the music that resonated with him. Balance career and values. His comments about family and stability show that success isn't only being on tour. It can also be showing up for your children, for your partner, for your father. Led with humility. As a bandleader, he wasn't the front-face celebrity, but he was central to the show's success. One doesn't always need the spotlight to make a difference. Celebrate legacy. The father-son dynamic in his band reminds us that mentoring, passing knowledge, and honoring roots is part of musical and human progress. In short, Cleto's life is a quiet testament that greatness doesn't always come with roaring headlines, but rather persistent presence, craftsmanship, integrity, and heart. As we come to the end of this video, let's pause for a moment. Cleto Escobedo III's passing on November 11th, 2025, at age 59, marks a loss not only for his family and friends, but for the many listeners, viewers, and musicians whose lives he touched. But his flame continues in every saxophone solo played late at night, in every house band tuning up before a taping, in the long rehearsals, the unseen hours, the commitment to craft. If you're a musician, I invite you to listen, really listen, to the saxophone in the intro to a late-night show, to the band in the background of your favorite talk show. There's more than decoration there. There's history, there's family, there's a lifetime of work. That's the mark of Cleto's legacy. As viewers, we can appreciate not just the stars on screen, but also the people who make the moment happen. To Cleto's wife Lori, his two children, his parents, his father colleague, may you find solace in how many people care and remember. And to you watching, cherish your own friends, value your own journey, show up for your craft, and remember that some of the most meaningful achievements aren't met with fanfare. They're built night after night, note after note, relationship after relationship. Thank you for joining this look at the life of Cleto Escobedo III. If you found meaning here, share it. And if you're a musician or creative of any kind, keep going. Your work matters.